I think that's the biggest problem for most lawyers and small firms is we don't trust ourselves to, if I hire the intake person or if I hire the associate, to be able to generate enough business to support that person and still bring home enough money for my family.
Yeah, it's very true because they go hand in hand, right? Like you've got to get a marketing system that is repeatable and predictable, and you also need to have the capacity to handle what that repeatable and predictable system is bringing
Mhm,
in. So you kind of need to do both at the same time, and that's really jumping off the diving board into the pool and not being sure that you know how to swim.
mhm.
And that's really
Everybody,
where
yeah, everybody
where
wants to
attorneys
focus
are.
on how do I get more cases coming through the pipeline, but then once they start coming through, most law firms have not thought through how do we, have a dedicated person or dedicated system to converting them.
Yeah. Now it's interesting because you just brought me full circle to another legal survey that Clio did in their Clio Legal Trends report. And this one I know was in 2019. They contacted 2,000 law
Mm,
firms and they pretended to be a
mhm.
client seeking legal services. An astonishing, I'm sure you've heard this one before, an astonishing 67% of law firms did not answer the phone
Mhm.
or did not return the initial message that
That's
was left,
crazy. Yeah.
which means that if you answer the phone, you're in the top one third of all law firms out there, which is insane. But that's the reality is that we think, oh, I need more leads. I need,
Mhm.
I need more things coming in the door when in reality, are we really doing everything we need to do to
Yeah.
actually handle the ones that are coming in? Sometimes we don't even know they're coming in because the phone rang, it went to voicemail, they didn't leave a message, right? So we just assumed that it was a wrong number. No, that was a multi-million dollar case that was ringing, and you just
Oh,
let it go to voicemail.
I'm going to make you sick here. So first of all, but Jason Hennessy has updated that study, and he does it every year. But his 2024 results, he did the same thing with he filled out 1,400 lead forms on various lawyers' websites, and most people do get back. But what you recognize is okay if you're in a larger market with big spenders and with great response intake teams, your window to respond to those things is very small. So most markets have a firm that's getting back in 30 minutes, right? Some of the firms are like they're responding to lead forms in an average of 3 minutes, which is crazy. And if you're a small firm, there's no way you can keep up with that, right? So that tells you something about competing in digital marketing. But we, I just had to let our front desk receptionist go because we had exactly that happen. We had a guy who had been in the hospital in the ICU for 18 days because he'd been run over by a trash truck. So bad injury, liability, good insurance coverage. The call drops 4 minutes into the phone call with my front desk guy. He doesn't put the thing into the lead system. Tries to call him back twice. We don't connect. And then nothing happened until we went back and we listened to a couple of calls because we were spot checking. Is he doing a good job? Because he's relatively new. And in 2 days later, I discovered that we'd had this multi-million-dollar case that had slipped through our fingers. We called the potential client back. He was gone. He'd hired somebody else. So it will make you physically sick if you go back and you figure out how many marketing dollars and revenue dollars are actually slipping through your hands because you're not good at answering the phones.
Yeah, I mean, this is really true, and I know it's not where we wanted. We were planning to take this
Yeah.
conversation, but the reality is that having a system and really, it's interesting because when I work with clients who are solos who are trying to get outside of it, they come in and they're like, I know I need systems in place. And I tell them, no, actually, you don't need systems yet. What you
Mhm.
need is an attorney and a marketing spend. And when we have cases coming in and that attorney's busy, now we can focus on systems. Like if you're focusing on systems early,
Mhm.
that's the wrong time. But that's just the timing of it. That's not me saying you don't need it. What's interesting is that everything that you talk about, which is, having that solid intake, having that great customer service experience, all of that requires repeatable processes. It
Mhm.
requires a system for everything so that when that phone rings, the same thing is happening every single time. When a client is engaged, they're getting the same experience every time. If you don't do that, like if you don't have a system in place and people have a variety of experiences, you're going to get exactly that. on your Google reviews, and you're
Hmm.
going to get exactly that in people hiring you, because there's going to be people who are, you know, mad, upset, 1-star reviewing you, and there's going to be people who are thrilled and 5-star reviewing you. And when somebody comes to hire a vendor, I'm going through that right now. I'm like, I'm flattening my backyard. I'm spending $70,000 plus on this project, and every single little thing, the fence, the electrician for running a conduit, like all these different things, I'm going out and I'm looking for vendors. And when I get that smattering of good and bad, to me, it's a signal to stay away.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
I want somebody who everybody's got a great experience. And the whiners, the 1-star reviewers, like you look at them and they're like, this person's truck can't drive. Like they cut me off on the road. Like, okay, fine. That doesn't say anything about their quality of their work and their ability to do their job. So great. I'm gonna, I'm happy and comfortable using them. I think, you know, we if we made decisions about running our firm from the perspective of what would our clients say when we were done, it would completely change the dynamic of how we operate.